Hey, welcome back into today's video. We're going to be talking about Nickelodeon child star Drake Bell, who's recently pleaded guilty to crimes against a child, and why I believe this is a little bit of a pattern. I also want to talk about how he's been trying to avoid accountability, all that and more in today's video. Drake Bell, the former children's television star who is facing accusations in Cleveland related to an incident involving a teen girl, has pleaded guilty to criminal charges against him. The 34-year-old, who went by his legal first name Jared during the proceedings, admitted to both attempting to endanger a child, which is a felony, and disseminating material harmful to juveniles, which is a misdemeanor.
How do you plead to count one? Attempted endangering children, felony of the fourth degree.
Guilty.
How do you plead to count two? Disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, first degree misdemeanor.
Guilty.
Let the record reflect defendant has pled guilty. The court accepts that plea. Finding was made knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently.
Police say the incident occurred back in December of 2017 when he was performing at a concert in Odeon. It was Odeon Concert Club, East Bank of Cleveland Flats. Bell was about 31 years old at this time, and the alleged survivor was about 15 years old. Authorities say that they had known each other for years and sent inappropriate messages leading up to the concert. The girl reported the incident to Canadian law enforcement in 2018, and they subsequently gave the information to Cleveland Division of Police. It was not until earlier this month, however, that Bell was arrested. Judge Timothy McCormick accepted Bell's plea, which was guilty to both of these charges, and then the sentencing was just yesterday, which he got out with probation. We're going to go over that. Drake pleaded guilty of attempted child endangerment and disseminating of harmful materials towards a child, which gave him 2 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, as well as no contact with the said survivor. So we're going to talk about why the sentence itself seems light, because when you hear the charges of the crime, it just seems like he should get more than community service. Says that during the sentencing, the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas courtroom, the now 19-year-old survivor, addressed as SG, spoke to Judge Timothy McCormick and the court, asking for Bell to receive the maximum sentence.
I won't be surprised if he tries to manipulate everybody into believing that he's changed, but he can't fool me. If he is truly sorry for anything, he is sorry that he has finally been caught. I can assure you of that. He committed these crimes against me with pride. A defendant who clearly feels no remorse for his crimes deserves to be given the maximum sentence possible.
The survivor told the courtroom that she'd been groomed by Drake from the age of 12 years old, and that when she was 15 years old, he told her to hurry up and grow up, and that this was after the alleged exchanging of messages that were inappropriate in nature.
2017, I messaged him, telling him that I was going to see him in concert in the following months. He replied by telling me that he couldn't wait to see me. He also asked me, quote, "How old are you now?" I told him 15. He then told me to, quote, "Hurry up, don't smile at me." Not too long after that, his messages to me became blatantly sexual. This eventually led to many months of inappropriate messages and photos being exchanged over Instagram and Snapchat.
The survivor goes on to say the two of them had sex, and that the only reason things did not progress further is because she was menstruating at that time, and that Drake showed no remorse for his actions.
I will never forget what he did to me. I idolized and looked up to him, and he took that and broke it in the most sickening way possible. He is the epitome of evil. I deserved better than to be used for his sick desires and for my suffering to be used for his amusement. Jared Drake Bell is a pedophile, and that is his legacy. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to show you a couple parts from the girl's statement, and then I want to show you what Drake's lawyer said that seemed to contribute to the less sentence that he did receive, and exactly why he received the sentence that he received.
Aside from Cleveland, the only other time that the defendant sexually assaulted me was in October of 2017. It happened in Illinois in the middle of the night. He digitally penetrated me in the back seat of my aunt's car while she was driving him to a friend's house.
So when they say digital, it refers to fingers, thumbs, and toes.
The Illinois police only agreed to move forward with that case if the Ohio police did not pursue this case. I don't understand why. Regardless of their reasons why, he has gotten away with assaulting me in Illinois. So today, I will be discussing the details of the crimes that he has pleaded guilty to and the impact that they have had on me.
Now, if you do want to watch this in its entirety, I will link it down below. It's about, I want to say the whole thing in its entirety is about an hour long, and it goes into detail on these certain types of situations, but I want to show you exactly the reason why his sentence seems less than it should be.
He was calculating. He preyed on me and sexually abused me. He is a monster and a danger to children.
So they let her speak her official statement, and when Drake's lawyer came up and spoke, they pretty much dismissed a lot of things with said evidence. This is what was said.
I will simply say this, some of these claims that were made about sending photos of jails, we went through these claims with the prosecutor's office for a long time, approximately 18 months. No such image was presented, either to the state or to the defense. The claim that he is a pedophile lacks any sort of factual support from the case, and it also lacks any sort of mental health claim. It's an easy tag to give someone, but doesn't fit in this case.
So his lawyer says the reason that Drake can't be labeled the P word is because during said inappropriate conversation, there was a point where the girl displays her age, to which Drake says, "Can you please hurry up?" And because he says this, that demonstrates that he does not want to have relations with an underage child.
Well, there's a lot to it. So there was discussion because they had known each other for years, and there were claims that became sexual in nature. When asked, however, at what point, or at your age, excuse me, at that point, he said, "Can you hurry up?" which shows a complete intent not to engage with a minor.
So in this situation, the things that Drake is taking responsibility for is putting the child in a position of that nature at all. There's claims that he did not know the age of child, and when he did know age of child, him saying, "Well, can you hurry up and get older so we can do our thing," is him not being the P word. But we're missing a lot of context in this situation. We don't know in which context that this was said. Was this said in a joking manner?
At the start, he may not have known. He did learn of the age at a later time, Your Honor, and that is why he's accepting the plea. What's it? Yeah, during the chats, Your Honor.
I'm assuming that the things that they said were correct, as in he did not know the age in the beginning, but it was made aware during the conversations because based off the body language of the survivor, she doesn't seem to disagree with this fact. So we do have to keep in mind this lawyer's job is to get Drake out of trouble, so this is obviously what we could expect from this, but it does bring into question things that could make the court feel this way or that, and I think does contribute towards why his sentence was said as the lesser degree that it was, because I feel like in a situation like this, you would see more severe things, but that's just not what happened. They actually said that he'd already received his punishment because if you Google Drake's name, it's all these different allegations, and that's punishment enough.
I would submit that there's already a great penalty that has been paid by Mr. Bell that others would not face merely because of his position. As the court knows, online, if you just simply type in his name, the initial Google result will come up with 23.6 million results that deal with Drake Bell and this very process for which we're standing here today.
In this situation, it came down to him pleading guilty to putting the child in a dangerous position and having these inappropriate conversations in that specific context. And what is strange to me, because the court asked if she wanted to make a statement on this, and so she told her whole story, which it seemed to not have an impact as one would think would happen in this type of situation. That being said, that's why I felt like it was important to bring up the strange circumstances surrounding this, being that leading up to this case, in the middle of all the commotion, that's when we all found out that he had a wife and child. And I don't think this was an accident. It says Drake has announced he's married and has a son just days before he is expected to be sentenced for felony attempted child endangerment and a misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to minors. So Drake actually went to Twitter and tweeted in Spanish that, yes, I do have a wife and a child, after him and his partner was spotted at Disneyland in California with a baby stroller, and he was holding a baby. So he came out, he says that he's been with her since 2017, which there's a bit of crossover there, which we're going to get that in a second. But I mean, he keeps her secret for 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21, and then just right before this happens, they're just scrolling through Disneyland together. I feel like that was calculated and for a reason, but that's just my opinion. But I want to talk about the crossover time. They've been dating about 2017. The situation with the child occurred in December of 2017, so I'm not sure how that stacks up, but it doesn't look good. And notice that he was tweeting in Spanish. That's something else we need to talk about. So it came out November 23rd, 2020. Drake Bell is rebranding himself as a Spanish pop star, and there was multiple different speculations as to why this was happening. We already know that Drake had an attempted music career from 2000 to 2010 in that era, and he released a few songs but never really reached much success. But in 2018, he released his first Spanish song, Fuego Lento, and then in October 2020, he released a full-length Spanish album, Sinsonia I'm saying that wrong, and I do apologize completely, but so he changes his name to Drake Campiana, and the interesting thing about that is Spanish for Bell. So, and this is his ID here. As you can see, it's officially changed. And I mean, the rebrand could be due to just he was having more popularity, more success in Mexico. That it could be just as easy as that. But there's other speculation that ties into his abuse accusations from his ex-girlfriend, Melissa Lingafelt, in a series of TikTok tweets that I don't see many people talking about. And I feel like it is really important to bring up during this situation because of the things that were said and went on during that. So I can see why some people think that he's just fled to Mexico and started fresh with a new name and music career for that reason. His ex-girlfriend, who goes by the name Jimmy Ono on TikTok at that time, released this TikTok video.
I would like to start out with saying that I don't really care if anyone believes me, as this is my story and my life and something that I went through. It wasn't until recently that I actually realized that abuse isn't something that all women have to go through. When I started dating Drake, I was 16. I was homeschooled. I moved in with him. I was singing. It wasn't until about a year when the verbal abuse started. And when I say verbal abuse, imagine the worst type of verbal abuse you could ever imagine, and that was what I got. It then turned into physical, hitting, throwing, everything. At the pinnacle of it, he dragged me down the stairs of our house in Los Feliz. My face hit every step on the way down. I have photos of this. I don't even want to get into the underage girls thing.
You heard right. She said an underage girl thing. Drake and Melissa dated in around 2006 for about 2 years. In later TikToks, Lingafelt shared screenshots of messages she said she received in response to the original post about Bell from an unnamed person who claimed Bell had raped them when they were under 18 years old. She also shared screenshots from 2 individuals who said Bell did the same to their friends who were also allegedly underage. So in response to this post on her IG story saying, everyone that really knows me has been a friend of mine for the past 15 years knows all too well of the ABUSE that Drake Bell put me through. I have so many witnesses. I have photos. It was my life. If you don't believe me, it is clear to me what type of person you are, and I don't need that on my side. Nobody wants attention from ABUSE. I hope this gives girls the strength to come out about their experiences with him, because I know for a fact he has hundreds of victims. One girl says in response to their story, "Hey Melissa, this is blank. I was Drake's girlfriend for 5 years after you. I will stand by your side and back you up as I went through the same horrific verbal, physical, and mental ABUSE." One girl says in reaction, "I know this to be true from personal experience. We went to high school together and dated from 2001, 2005, 06, from the ages 16 to 21. Thank you for speaking out. I wish I had more receipts. I have some photos. Unfortunately, no voicemails or text receipts because he broke every phone I had back then. Like you, I have many friends and witnesses to attest to what he put me through. I've had several of them send me your TikToks and the article that people.com put out." Another girl saying, "Thank you for speaking out about Drake Bell. I can personally confirm he had sex with a friend of mine who was 15 years old when he was 20. I sent him this message 2 years ago. I remember you speaking to my friend on the phone after it happened, and you told her he choked you and spit in your face. This was 2006. To which she says, I dated him from August 2006 to February 2009. This is the girl he cheated on me with and took her V card. So this right here is another situation where the dates overlap. And I also want to say, if there's anybody else out there that's been affected by Drake Bell, you can also, if you are comfortable, reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction of some resources. This situation, I feel like, is very bad. Another thing that was really odd is that he seemed to celebrate not getting in more trouble than he got. People reported less than an hour after his virtual court appearance, he took to Instagram Live, where fans may have assumed he'd speak about the case. However, instead he sat with his son in his lap and he played the piano and sang to him and the camera. The caption was "Father-Son Jam Sesh," which is kind of odd right after a serious court session like this. I do agree with that. I want to know what you guys think about this, because as interesting as this is, I always want to know what you guys think. So why don't you go ahead and put your creative and or interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up those likes as always, brothers and sisters. I will see you in the next video. I mean, clearly there's a lot more to it, the situation, and the lawyer did what lawyers do. So I do want to say that I'm really proud of us as a community, because we completed our fundraiser. We raised over $10,000 for RAIN to help survivors in difficult situations. So that's something that I take pride in. I want to do more stuff like that. Also, finally, I want to say that the team jerseys, Rep Squad team jerseys, looks like this. If you want one of those, make sure you filled out the form also in the pinned comment. Also, thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate you guys. If you want to support what I do here on the channel, the Patreon link will be in the pinned comment, because that's just another way to show that you're repping if you're not repping your cake. And hey, do you go, dang, I messed up. So, yeah, positivity turtles in the chat, and this channel loves you. Now I'm gonna go eat. Yes, my hair is getting long. I think I'm just gonna let it grow.